So I am sharing today about accountability, with our speaking, recovering, and a couple conversations I had, plus talks I had, with people. So in terms of accountability, it's obstacles to humility are superiority, self-righteousness, taking credit or blame away from God, not utilizing the positives of a trait. So bless me. So a defect replaces a strength, refusing to self-visualize for the future. And accountability is the composite, the shadow and the light, the ego and the presence. It's not an imposition of values around accountability onto others. So we can forgive ourselves for our own trespasses. We can then forgive others who trespass us. And when we move around obstacles to our purpose, we start to recognize it's about controlling myself and only taking what I need, not controlling others or trying to get everything for free. The way has to be okay, my way, whatever it is. Nurturing can be destructive too, washing away even into the cracks. Not everyone's going to love us back, and love doesn't mean pleasing someone. When we reconcile the left and right brain, it's a special skill of integrating the doubt, which teaches us where to have discernment. Sometimes growth is not noble, but a desperate attempt to escape the fear and death, and sometimes it's an unavoidable triggered spurt. Like a kid who has a growth spurt, and they're eating so much, and they're growing through their clothes. And sometimes it's like, the ground is slipping out from under us. We have to rush forward. And sometimes there's an icky, bittersweet kind of roll. But when we try to give the listening, love, and guidance that past us didn't get, that's real humility, because we're watching in our presence our abilities. And it's a unique perspective that I have and that you have, that each of us have. And rather than getting caught up in I didn't get it. We're sort of in the moment of, look, I can do it, but also maybe I didn't know I could. So using the need to give and have something to offer, unentitled versus our own needs met. There's having something to offer, not being entitled to others having to offer us, our own needs being met, meeting our own needs, versus being a sellout through people pleasing, or empowerment from giving through abundance and choice. So it's my cup runs over kind of idea, versus I empty myself out and pour into you, thinking you're going to pour into me. Fruits are sweetened truth seeds at the consumer's pace. In other words, if you want to give someone the harsh truth and they can't swallow it, it's too bitter, you haven't packaged it the way nature does. Nature puts a seed, which could be bitter, inside of a fleshy, sweet, juicy fruit. And we can, at the rate at which the person needs it. And then we could sort of say accountability is kind of it's an addiction to not take accountability, separating ourselves from others kind of behavior, lies versus honesty. We can only do it for ourselves, not being honest for other people's sake, but for our own self. The accusations that come when we're hurt, lonely, defensive, or angry, we could also start to look at ourselves. What are my intentions and motives? Where can I remove but or because when I'm criticized, and take accountability for myself, regardless of the people around me? And why am I trying to work on you instead of me? Because I'm reacting to you reacting. It's like switching to unsafe, insecure, or childish, immature, grandiose. Maturity is being responsible for our own actions, learning faith and trust and acceptance. This is accountability. Instead of not considering others' lives and needs and values and time, like their schedules and commitments, maybe we make others feel trapped. Rather, let others know how they want. Let others be how they want, whether I'm there or not. I'm not God. No tantrums, forgiveness, not taking it all personally. Something else may not be an improvement. My limits are mine and yours are yours. Oh, and I had a talk with someone named Tammy about intimacy bringing vitality, and how gratitude for the work of the age, the challenge of being the leader, the rescuer, creativity around options, identifying them. So not just someone saying, "Oh, I'm getting old," but rather saying, "I've become." I'm capable now of the challenge of being a leader or a rescuer. The age brought the work that's possible, versus that losing and not versus, but maybe baggage. So when we lose the baggage, the trauma turns into a blessing, and there's room for deeper healing, because we don't react to either being validated or being blamed. And our presence matters. Our role makes a difference. We know for sure. And that the deeper, because at the core, the more unconditional love and strength to recover, enough to become a life collaborator, collaborating with life that deeply. And being able to always ask, well, why is this in my movie when we get triggered? Because what I'm not trusting is for the best. When we pause, we could know. So in terms of recovering, when it happens that we are in this accountability resistance, we could start to tell ourselves, I can handle this. It gets so hard, so I have to learn to trust. And I don't have to be sorry for who I am. I'm worth it. I'm here for a reason. I'm capable of seeing myself in a new perspective and growing and many perspectives and helping myself to see other people too. Not everyone's able or wants to learn to see, and not everyone's interested in more than one perspective. Like maybe people just want to see through their own eyes and not see how we see. But again, I mentioned aging before. I want to say aging does not equal growing or developing. When we believe we're capable of change and want to in order to grow, we have to remember not everyone is doing that. So we can, who am I and where do I want to go? If towards love and acceptance, I can choose my own self-acceptance right now. There's no one better or worse than me. Without clinging to someone else seeing me as innocent or goody two-shoes or normal or selfless or secure, just so I can be on the good side of someone and not face feeling conditionally loved, or avoiding feelings of feeling used, rejected, exploited, worthless all over again. In other words, it's never going to work to expect someone else to atone for when I might feel crazy or destructive. And I had a talk with my friend Bailey, and we were talking, about how to learning to sit in uncomfortable states, even when they're feeling used or rejected or exploited, and how that energy of resistance is that internalized mom kind of like distrust. So the safety challenge is to be alone before being ready and to be okay with the loneliness. And when we're not clear on limits or how to express, it might sometimes be that we end up feeling invaded or invading, or we're afraid of our own power. And the quantity of the possible options or the choices, like a kid or a teenager, you put like too many things, they get overwhelmed. And then starting to recognize there's this maternal horizon that we could start to cross over. Like each one of us, the mother didn't go further than that, but she set the boundary of what was safe. We could honor that mother that we got, that she was trying to keep us safe, and starting to move into like things that we used to resist gently. And as a woman, I would say I'm moving into a new topic now. Like after I spoke with Bailey, I was reflecting on speaking in general, because I had all these conversations with people. And basically, when we're speaking, does it speak to the problem or the solution? Is it framed kindly or nicely? Is it more important than silence? And is there wisdom and purpose, or just hearing my voice talk? And avoidance is like suspicion is showing me where I'm giving up my autonomy. And sometimes being second is also a gift, like not speaking first. Oh, maybe I get a tissue. So, an independent thought capacity, we get to experiment with our beliefs, versus when we're avoidant, we're actually seeing where we're totally giving up our choice. We're like just blindly like, I don't even want to look at it. And when we have spiritual parasites, when we are one, it takes the gift of God, which is the true foundation, the umbilicus, like our direct tether to the Creator. And like, think about flies. They go to poop and honey. We don't have to give in to the negativity of the negative people. Like what happens? The flies grow in the shit or the honey. Sorry, the poop, and their larvae could be considered like parasites, right? So like when people are kind of like trying to be inside of us, but like it's our gift that we are only supposed to be inside of ourselves. We have to remember that when we're speaking from inside of ourselves. And so sometimes people are like, it could be called energy vampires, or like in a conversation with them, we feel worse than when we started, or, and as a woman, we're like talking, everyone is king and queens of God majesty, right? So when the other side of putting on airs is like inflation, arrogance, windy, above and below. But when we just speak from inside to outside, we're communicating from the inside. And when we're talking to people, we don't want them to be talking only to the outside or from the outside. We want them also to be talking from the inside. And what I learned from the Kabbalah Center from Eitan Yardeni was how how light moves from positive to negative. More resistance to light loss, greater the kept light versus a short circuit. So the more stable the container. So sometimes holding back our words, sometimes taking accountability, sometimes the resistance. Remember I talked about resistance before. Like learning how to sit with the resistance to resistance. And reinforcement for the coming blessings as a foundation that can handle the light process. Multiple rejections on the way to a lasting success, like somebody who starts a new business or buying many lottery tickets that don't work first. Sustainability and humility by resisting the victim consciousness, and ego, which is like desire to manifestation, more than we want, beyond what we have, the more entitled, egotistical, needy, and separate, and the more power is required to resist. It's called work. For example, when we take credit, or when we're impatient, or we're reactive, or insensitive, or judging, or desiring validation, or requiring just only our way, this is like when the ego comes in that space between what we have and what we want. And the desire to the manifestation, to get there, that space, we could overcome it by doing work. Instead of ego coming in, we could take up that space with work. And that's the true blessings. We let go of outcome. We let go of the instantness that is self-opposing, because obviously we want that space so we could fill it up with work so we can actually get to where we want to go. So I'll stop here and wish you a blessed rest of your day and night. Be well. Bye.